Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Namaskaram to everyone here. Namaskaram. Firstly, I'd like to extend my appreciation and thanks to Arunama and the team for rendering a lovely insight into the great Carnatic music. Thank you very much. It was an apt beginning for the occasion that we are celebrating today. So, Guru Purnima, you all can hear me? Yes. All right, no problem. Okay. So, celebrating Guru Purnima is a great spiritual tradition where we pay our homage, where we pay our respects to our Guru and to the past Gurus. It's a day we have chosen to express our ever felt gratitude. In fact, there is one emotion that consumes and engulfs a life of a student is the gratitude he or she has towards the Guru. And if a student doesn't have that feeling of gratitude, it's like a fake flower which almost looks real but lifeless. There's no substance. So in fact, it is this country that really upholds this great Guru Shishya Parampara, the preceptor disciple lineage. And in fact, I along with you all, if we all can bow down to that great lineage of the Gurus of the past, it's because of that lineage we have access to this wisdom today. And I thank Arunama for accepting my request to sing the famous Kirtana, Tyagaraja Kirtana, Endaro Mahanubhavulu, Andariki na Vandanamulu. Because you do not know who all have contributed to your well-being, who all have contributed to this wisdom. So I don't want to commit that error of excluding anybody. So please forgive me if I do, to ensure that I don't fall short of my gratitude. Andariki na vandanamulu. Known and unknown, I bow down. So this Guru-Shishya relationship is in fact a very profound relationship. So unique, so grand, it stands out amidst all relationships you have right through your life. The moment you're born, you establish a relationship with your mother, then your father, then your siblings, and then your friends, and so on and so forth. Your spouse, your children, your grandchildren. Many relationships we have. But of all that relationships, this relationship between a guru and a shishya is so profound, is so unique. And what makes it unique? I tell you, it's so staggering. What makes it unique is this is the only relationship that is liberating. Every other relationship is binding. Everything limits you, constricts you, confines you to it. But this alone liberates you from everything. And to that, a guru goes great lengths. The commitment a guru has towards the student's transformation is unparalleled. And this only a student understands what a teacher does to bring about the transformation in you. Unparalleled commitment, unparalleled. As they say, you can only know, can that door be closed? Right. You only know what are the sacrifices of a parent until you become a parent. You wouldn't know what sacrifice a parent does until you become a parent yourself. So this lineage, this parampara has preserved this knowledge or tradition. So this Guru Purnima is also celebrated as Vyasa Purnima. The reason or the occasion being the great Vyasa as his birthday. So we take the great Vyasa as one of the gurus who has impacted our lives. You know, as you all know, Vyasa is the one who has codified the Vedas. In fact, the very word Vyas, you know what the word Vyas means? The very word Vyas means is to divide, to code. So Vyasa is the one who has divided or codified the Vedas for our benefit, without which we would have been lost in that huge, vast sheet of knowledge. We wouldn't know where is what. So it is celebrated in the recognition of the great Vyasa. Now for those of you who don't have reference to the shlokas I would be chanting or some quotations I will be quoting, you would see them on the side screen of yours, also for the benefit of those who are attending online. It would, can you remove, what is that? Can you share the PPT, please, start. So, there is this outstanding verse from the Dhyana shlokas, where we pay our respects to the great Vyasa. Namostu te Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Ullara Vindayata Patra Netra Yena Tvaya Bharata Thaila Purnaha Prajwalito Jnanamaya Pradipaha. Namostute Vyasa Vishala Buddhe. The mere chant itself is so melodious, it almost melts your heart, it pierces your head, it strikes a chord with your head and melts your heart. It's just invocatory text. Salutations to the great Vyasa. There are certain pertinent questions through the course of today's presentation. I would help clarify it. Why are we celebrating this Guru Purnima? As I've said, we are celebrating this Guru Purnima because why are we celebrating this Guru Purnima? No, don't look at the screen, there are no answers there. It will only put more questions. So if you want answers, you must look at me. Not that I have answers, but I'm asking you. It's an opportunity, as we said, we are celebrating Guru Purnima, an opportunity to express our ever felt gratitude with an understanding that you can never ever settle what you have received. It's like I go to my parents and say, okay, I want to account and settle all what I've received from birth till today. So I've learned that you should never be indebted. In fact, Muhammad said on his deathbed, when Muhammad was approached on his deathbed, he was asked, what are your parting message? He said, he amongst you who is best at repaying, go and pay back to everyone. Check it out. Check that phone out. I told her, don't carry that albatross around her neck. She was sitting next to me. I said, put that bag inside. She didn't want to let go. No, Guruji, my bag, so precious, so valuable things. Tell you, so difficult. Guru Purnima celebrating. Why a Guru? Please answer that question, Jama. Why you need a Guru? Nothing so certain. So you have to be... all timely, divinely help comes, I was struggling to answer that question and the phone rang. Divine intervention, divine providence helps, sir, I must tell you, Only we must surrender, it helps. So, we can never ever settle back to our parents, can we? To all what sacrifices they have done, whatever they have done for your well-being, you can never settle them. So, here is an expression of gratitude. In fact, you have this attitude of gratitude ever present with an understanding that you can never ever settle. So we are celebrating just to remember that all their efforts are not in vain. And I am committed to imbibe this great dharma which you all have imparted from time immemorial. A guru has no other intention, no other motive but to pass it on. If a guru has any other intention, he really falls short of being a guru. There is no malice, there is no thought, no iota of an expectation in return. To that we bow down. Why a guru? A guru shows you a path which you have not charted. So spiritual path is an uncharted path, means you have never gone there. Therefore you need to have someone to guide you to go somewhere where you have never been. There's a beautiful saying, Gayatri Ma, you have to be on me. Everything else you forget. Forget it. Whoever's in the room, send them out. Don't be distracted. The next quote. What lies behind us? So many things are behind us, isn't it? What lies before us, ahead of us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. Isn't it? You all see it there? What lies behind us vis-a-vis what lies ahead of us are tiny matters, inconsequential compared to what lies within us. And for that you need a guru. You need a guru to guide you to get to that reservoir of wisdom. It's not there in the dead past, it's not there in the unborn future, it's there right now. And the guru helps you to do that. All the time we are worrying us what happened, what is yet to happen. Alas, in vain, in vain. Go back to the questionnaire. What should I do to grow spiritually? A student approached the guru and asked, Guruji, what is it I should do to spiritually grow? In fact, it's a Zen saying. He simply said, sweep the floor, chop the wood, cook the food. That's all. Are you all with me? The student went up to the guru and asked, what do I do to grow spiritually? He said, sweep the floor, chop the wood, cook the food. That's all. That he didn't say, you can add that. The Zen is there, Zen illa. Ama. Then what is the practical clarification the student asked? If I have to do that, why should I come here? Can I not do it at my own home? What? Ushama, what? Sweep the floor, chop the wood, cook the food. Why do you have to come here to do that? If you say this is all I do, I'll do it at home. To which the guru said, then you will clean your floor, you will chop the wood for yourself, you will cook the food for yourself. And in that there is no growth, my dear. The guru helps you in mysterious ways and means. How do I grow spiritually? He said, come and sweep my floor. Come and chop the wood for me. Come and cook for me. What does it mean? What does it mean, Harishji? Must start. That spirit of giving begins to the source of benefaction. I disregard my parents and I am supporting an orphanage. Has it any meaning? Old folks home. I am the main supporter of an old folks home in the city, but my parents are, I don't know where they are. I said, what sort of charity is that? They said, charity begins at home, isn't it? So you want to grow spiritually, the first source of benefaction, your gratitude must be to the source of benefaction, to the Guru himself. And then you go beyond it, don't limit it. Many people, they pick up a Guru and then limit it to the Guru. As they say, your home should be the center, not the boundary of your love. Everywhere is a boundary. It's not a fanatic attachment. So a Guru helps you, so you need a Guru for that. And how do I grow? Again I say, sweep the floor, chop the wood. I'm repeating so you've forgotten quickly or you remember what I said. Simple yet so profound. Now, the topic today is fragrance of forgiveness. And the the essence of that topic is covered with the two primary questions. Why should one embrace forgiveness in one's life? Secondly, how should one forgive? If you have to, if you want to, you should embrace the spirit of forgiveness. If you're convinced with that, then how should I go about doing it? Now, this forgiveness is one of the, you can call it as a sattvic quality. In fact, it's such a divine quality. It's my personal choice. It doesn't necessarily have to be for you all, but I would say it is a crown of all qualities. It easily takes the cake, easily. And when I say that, there are close to 75, 80 qualities in the scriptures. In the 12th chapter of the Gita, there are 35 qualities. In the 13th chapter of the Gita, there are 20 qualities of a jnani, 35 qualities of a devotee of God. And elsewhere in the Gita, you have 26 more qualities, 80 odd qualities. And of that, I would say this quality of forgiveness is the real fragrance of a spiritual person. As Alexander Pope said, Alexander Pope, he was a great English poet, philosopher, thinker from the 18th century. And he said, to err is human. To forgive, divine. It's truly a divine quality. To err is human, but to forgive is divine. So what would be the opposite of forgiveness? I'm not testing you all when I ask you this. I also need some help. Anger, revenge, a grudge. Yes, ready, Garu? Jealousy, enmity, hatred. मैं देखूंगा अभी आ गए ना मैं देखूंगा आपको that kind of, never let go. You don't erase it from within. It consumes you. So that the quality of all of this, it's the quality where you censure resentment, a retaliation, an anger towards something or someone in particular. Imagine your heart's harboring all this hatred, anger, censure, you condemn something, you don't appreciate it, you dislike. So why should you welcome Nimilan? Hari Om. Welcome Pa. Hi Pa, so nice seeing you. Now Nimilan was someone who recently participated in a summer camp. It was for the age group from, what are you, Rajima? What age group? 7 to 13. Nimilan, how are you, Pa? How old are you? My God. One of the smartest boys in our camp, I must say that. And I took a selfie with him also. I keep seeing that selfie once in a while, And so nice seeing you physically here. Back. Are you happy to see me? Thank you. Now, why should one embrace forgiveness? Any ideas? Why should you embrace forgiveness? Liberate. Liberate what? Which self? Huh? For your own good. To liberate oneself. In fact, you have to embrace forgiveness because it restores your inner peace. And not to do so causes a great friction, uneasiness within, almost tantamounting to committing a sin. So if I do not forgive you for what you have done to me, if I don't forgive you, I am committing a sin. Does it dawn on to you all? Somebody loses his or her temper onto me, and I take it personally, and I retaliate, resent, non-approval of that emotion that came my way. And if I don't forgive you for your anger, I am committing a sin. What is this? Sounds very funny. You have lost your temper, you are committing a sin. How come I am committing a sin? Tantamounts to. So first and foremost, we must understand that you're forgiving another, not for that person's sake, but for your own sake. There's a beautiful saying. Forgiveness is primarily for one's own sake, so that you do not carry the burden of resentment. Forgiveness is primarily for your own sake, so that you don't carry the burden of resentment, which is destroying you from within. It's not for the other, but for your own well-being. You must forgive. Hey. Next. Little vicious minds abound with anger and revenge, are incapable of feeling the pleasure of forgiving their enemies. Little vicious minds, shallow minds. In Sanskrit it's called alpa buddhi, chicken intellect, means small intellects. Little vicious minds that abound with anger and revenge are incapable of feeling the pleasure of forgiving their enemies. They don't stand a chance, because they are full of resentment and anger and bitterness and hatred and grumbling and complaining all their life. All their time is consumed with that. They don't want to embrace, they don't want to grow as a wise man will make haste to forgive. A wise man will make haste to forgive, as he knows the true value of time and will not suffer it to pass away in unnecessary pain. So the sooner you forgive the other, the sooner are you liberated. And a wise man will make haste to forgive, as he knows the true value of time. He will not suffer it to pass away in unnecessary pain. Not required. Are you all relating? Are you all with me? Now when you do, when you do end up embracing forgiveness, that quality of forgiveness it benefits me first. If I'm forgiven other, it benefits me, and the next is it benefits the forgiven. So the forgiver is benefited first and the forgiven is transformed. It helps in both ways. And the best example I can think of is, if you all have read or seen that classic works by Victor Hugo, the play Les Miserables. How many of you have read the book or seen the movie Les Miserables? Raise your hands. How many of you seen it or heard about it? Read it 50 years ago, sir? I'll refresh your memory. Les Miserables is by Victor Hugo. You would get lovely video production movies as well. You can get hold of it and watch it. To cut the story short, it's the story of a woodcutter who was a very honest man, but it was such difficult times, he couldn't find means to support his family. And he goes and he steals a loaf of bread. And there was total anarchy in those days of the rules by the government or the system that was operational. He was imprisoned for 10 years for stealing a loaf of bread. He appeals to the Lord to say, please forgive me, I'm an honest woodcutter, but I have no means to support my family. He said, nothing doing. He was dismissed. 10 years in prison. He tried to escape the prison once. He's caught, another 5 years imprisonment. Second time he's caught, he spits at the inspector. Another 5 years, or another 10 years. So the story goes, he has been imprisoned for 25 years in prison for stealing a loaf of bread. Having spent close to a decade in the prison, he somehow escapes. And in that late night, he is sleeping on the pavement in the bitter cold in England. A passerby sees this man. He said, you will freeze to death tomorrow. Why don't you knock at door for any help? And he said, you knock at that door, you'll get the help. Somebody will help you. And that door happened to be the house of a priest, local priest who was well known for his great heart. So he knocked at the door. A lady maid opened the door, welcomed him, and he was still in a robe of an escaped convict. You know, he still had the robe of a convict. It was very evident. The priest saw him, invited him with great heart. He was having his supper, said, please join. And the tradition in the house was, whenever you had a guest, food will be served in solid silverware. So he told the maid, let's follow the tradition. And she reluctantly served in the silverware. Thereafter, the priest suggested, you can sleep over tonight and go wherever you have to go. Not a question asked, not a word spoken. Who are you? What happened? Where have you come from? Nothing. They had supper, said, why don't you rest tonight? And coincidentally, all the silverware was in a cupboard in the guest room where the convict was being offered. And he quietly sees the maid leaving the silverware. Not surprisingly, the convict steals the silverware and is caught the next morning by the police, who have often been entertained by the priest. They knew this belongs to the priest. And when the maid comes, she sees the cupboard empty. I told you not to entertain him, she said. All is gone. And he just said, replace them with steel. He just said, replace the silverware with steel, that's all. No complaint, nothing. And when the moment comes where the police summon him, and then the police were sent off, the priest said, I will take care of it. In fact, he told them, the police left, I actually gifted it to him. If it was truly a gift, The convict should have clarified that he received a gift. He was quiet. So they were confused. They didn't know what was happening. However, after the police leave, the priest takes two solid silver stick stands, candlestick stands in silver, candlestick stands in pure silver. He takes those two stands and gives to him, my son, remember, life is to give, not to take. He said, remember, my son, life is to give, not to take. And that act of giving and forgiving transformed. The convict was John Valjean. That John Valjean transformed to be one of the greatest of men who did yeoman service to society thereafter. So here is an act of forgiveness to a convict. When you forgive a criminal act, when you are the recipient of another person's crime, if you have the Catholicity and the maturity to forgive the other, you are benefited first. It gives you a certain peace and composure. Instantly it transforms the other. But you must learn to embrace forgiveness for that, truly. So that priest, in fact, emulated this quality which the great Ramatirtha spoke about. He said all his life he worked on this one maxim. All his life he gave, he forgave. Can we all let this whole reverberate with this quote? He gave, forgave. Once more, please. I will give, I will forgive. Not he gave, okay, let him give, let him forgive. It's not for him. I thought somebody will change the grammar there. Oh, let him give, let him forgive. That is his business. I have got nothing to do with it. No. I will learn to give. I will embrace that spirit of forgiveness. Next. Mahatma Gandhi said, the weak cannot forgive. It is the attribute of the strong. So you need to cultivate the wisdom to be able to forgive another. It's not easy. I'm sure you agree with me, it's not easy, isn't it? Especially when you are at the recipient end. To say, I forgive you, it takes a lot. Isn't it, sir? Yes, please. Can pass the 1 minute, sir? No, you need to be past the mic so that.
Should there be a threshold for forgiveness? If no, why the wars were fought? Especially you can see Mahabharata or any other, that's a small example which I have given. But if forgiveness is the one which we are really embracing, I have a doubt for myself, should there be a threshold?
It's not should they be. We all have. We all have a threshold, a point where beyond that we can't forgive. All of us have. As like all of us have, just akin to, all of us are born with the muscle. All of us have a certain strength in the muscle. And there's a point where you can't bear the weight and then you give up. It's beyond your threshold. Your capacity is beyond your capacity. Unless you work out and increase your stamina, where the threshold of your capacity to bear weight increases. Exactly the same way, when you enrich yourself with this wisdom, is the disparity between you and others increases because you are growing higher in stature. The greater the stature, the easier it is to forgive. When the disparity is less, there is a competition. Oh, you said that? I can, you know what I can do to you? You know in which way I can return it back to your favor? You can't imagine. So the attitude of retaliation and competition comes in when there's no disparity. But when there's disparity, so you wouldn't get into an argument with Nimilan is Nimilan, but Nimilan is cute. But let's say an 8-year-old boy comes and does some mischievous pranks at you, teases you, insults you. Would you say, I would take you into the court of law? I have enough witnesses and testimony to what you did to me. I will present you the court of law. Would you take it to your heart and get offended by it? Would you have sleepless night if an 8-year-old boy says something about you? Yeah, you laugh at him, don't you? You say, in fact, the very famous, can anybody guess? The famous words of the Shastras, of the Mahatmas. Aparagaru. Why are you hiding, sir? The famous words of the Gurus in the Shastras. In the context. Obviously, it has to be in the context. You were saying something. Never mind. Out of context also, I'll take your answer. I don't know, sir. Okay. Anybody? Boliye, sir.
The limit of forgiveness, for example, I guess, we have two kinds of mind. One is like nature, it always forgets. If you keep your mind free and kind of gone free, then it's always kind of a forgetful mind. But when you make your mind kind of a zoo, and you're in the center of the zoo, you hold the thought, all evil thoughts, all idle thoughts, and then it becomes. Regarding the tolerance level, when there are millions of Jews all around on this planet, and then the nature cannot take it any further, then the nature answers. So that's the tolerance level. Then one day finally the nature kind of balances the whole act. Then, one day we break down all these kind of feedback or something like that. Those first two slides, these are the two differences I was getting when I saw.
As I've said at the very beginning, forgiveness is the crown of all qualities. It's not easy to cultivate this quality of forgiveness. It takes a lot out of you to forgive another person. So in fact, you can say forgiveness is nothing but spiritual maturity. It's so mature. It doesn't offend you. You look at others as an adult looks at a child. And the famous words of the Shastras, they constantly say, Balaha. The Gurus often call us as Balaha, means spiritual children. How else will a child behave? Immature. So, if you are embracing this wisdom, it only increases your thresholdness, your capacity to forgive another. To the extent, sir, when Christ was crucified on the cross, what are the words of Christ? You don't need you don't need to think hard. Our tradition of how and what these great gurus had set examples, we just have to look up to them and emulate the standards they had set for us. He said, Father, forgive them, they know not what they do when they are being nailed on the cross. Unimaginable act. None in the history of humanity has ever been subjected to such a criminal act, and never indeed was a man of that wisdom who could utter such a act or display that kindness or forgiveness. They know not what they do. What maturity, sir? What maturity? So, are we all certain and clear that we all should embrace forgiveness? I'm not doing exhaustive. I'm just giving you an insight into it. I'm very poor at stories, man. So what are you getting at? You know, we both are in the same boat. I also don't know. I will come back to you with an answer. Maria Padikano, a lot to study and digest. So I will not shoot the arrow in the dark. I'll come back to you. There should be a deeper meaning. I know not, nor do we have the luxury of time to take the answers from the floor. But we will shelve it for now. Okay? So having been clear that we ought to embrace the spirit of forgiveness, Vasantama, what was the next question? Did you note? What was the next question? Ramji? Oh, you have a question. Don't put me in serious trouble, sir. We have. No, this question comes in queue.
No, that question. No, that last question I remember. That is how to forgive.
Yes, sir.
That is a different one. But what I wanted to ask is forgiving and forgetting same? You may forgive, but you may not forget.
Now.
So the way we are discussing forgiveness now.
Yes.
It amounts to forgetting that somebody has done something to you. Otherwise, if you keep it in mind, then you might forgive, but you will not forget. So is there a difference? And I just wanted your...
No, as you said, I have an answer.
Yeah.
Gayatri Ma will help me giving the answer. Keep going to the end. The third last slide. Sanjay, are you following, Sanjay? Good. Haresh, are you following? Hey, where is the slide? I am bargaining time by the time. Now next. I can forgive. People often say, sir, I can forgive, but I cannot forget. It is only another way of saying I will not forgive. I forgive you, but I will... it doesn't go off my head. It is haunting me in my head. Permanently in my head. In the hard disk, permanent. It is like a inbuilt hard software that comes with the system, no? How can you say I forgive but I cannot forget? If something consumes your mind, if something haunts you, as you remember what we learn in Vedantic study, as you think so you become. As you think, so you become. If I have thoughts of anger, hatred, non-acceptance, resentment, even when you are not in my presence, you have done and gone, but still I am remembering. So to do something wrong is not bad, but to continue to remember what you have done is seriously a disease of the mind. That's not acceptable. Does it answer, sir? Doesn't change anything. In fact, if many a people, many a time is just superficial. In fact, we are being hypocritical. And silently we are destroying ourselves with the bitterness and the hatred and the animosity you have for the other. It's rather vent it out and get done with it, man. It's like a pressure cooker. Constantly the pressure is building without a vent. What would happen? Yemothun, sir? It'll just blow up. Come on, if I have something, if I'm angry with Hariji, I'll call Hariji, I don't like this, blah, 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 I'll tell him. He's the only one who will very happy to receive. Correct, Hariji? But it's not the case with Rajima. No, I don't mean... Oh, okay, Rajima also. You're very right, ma. Unless and until you mean it, it doesn't liberate you. You want to be truly liberated, you must. So therefore, if you have to forgive... Question, Vasantama? He gave forgive, that's an answer. Question, last question. How do we forgive, isn't it? How do we forgive? How should we forgive? Now, this quality of forgiveness can be operated either through the heart or through the head. You can either operate from the heart or from the head. The first, from the heart, means the mind. Now the quality which is captured in the Gita, in the 12th chapter of the Gita, the 13th verse, I did mention 35 qualities of a devotee of God. In that he says, Kshami. Kshama or Kshami. Kshami means forgiveness. And here is the verse. Those of you, it was all there on the board for you all. Please chant along with me. Adveshtha sarva bhutanam maitra karuna yevacha nirmamo nirahankaraha samadukha sukha kshami. So kshami means forgiveness. Now, how do you operate from the heart? You said threshold, sir. Your heart must be so pure. Your heart must be so pure that there is no trace of malice or hatred in your heart, that when someone is rude or nasty to you, you're so pure in your disposition that when somebody is rude or nasty to you, your love and affection is so profound that you release the fragrance of forgiveness. Yeah. Your heart is so pure and so without any malice that when somebody is rude or nasty to you, you release the fragrance of forgiveness. Oh, I said 25 years back. Next. I'm saying same thing 25 years. Nothing has changed. he will go back today also, he'll go back and tell Sudama, hey, this fellow is saying same thing, that thing he has learnt. Eternal truth. The famous words of Mark Twain. He says, forgiveness is the fragrance the violet sheds on the heel that crushes it. Beautiful, isn't it? The violet is that sweet little flower. When the heel that crushes on the flower, and what the flower does? The flower releases the fragrance. And he says, that fragrance is the forgiveness when somebody crushes you. When somebody hurts your ego, when somebody insults you, when somebody does something to you, you release that fragrance of forgiveness. Your heart must be so pure that you release it. So beautiful, isn't it? Lovely. There's a seemingly innocuous story with such a beautiful message. There was a mother who had a son. The family was only the mother and the son. True affection the mother had for the son. One day the mother saw the son pining away. Pining away. The mother innately knew something is not right with the child, because the mother knows. And she went up to the son and asked, son, what's bothering you? I'm there for you, tell me, what's bothering you? He said, no, nothing. He dismissed her away. Nothing, mommy, everything is fine. But she persisted and said, come on, don't lie to me. There's nobody who knows you more than me. Tell me, what's bothering you? And he said, you know the girl I love? Yeah. You mentioned about her to me the other day. I want to get into a relationship with her. Yeah, you have my approval. You can get into a marriage. We can celebrate the occasion. Then he said, there's a small problem, Mom. What's the problem? I'll help you out. Tell me, no? I said, no, Mom, I can't. He was just avoiding. I said, no, it's okay. I'll move on with it. No, it can't happen. Mother said, come on, don't be joking. You like her, she likes you. I think you don't have to look beyond her. What is it? No, she's laying one condition. To marry me. What's the condition? No, Mom, I can't. I can't tell you. He couldn't. He had no words to. And she had to pin him on, you better say what it is. Then he said, she wants your heart. She wants your heart. The physical heart, she wants it. And then only I'll marry you. Moments later, it's a story, huh? Moments later, the mother's heart was in a tray. The mother gave a heart. The story goes, the boy became so overwhelmed with that act, and he's taking that heart in a tray to show to his love that here is my mother's heart, please marry me. And as he was going, he stumbled. And as he stumbled, the heart from the tray spoke, look out, my dear son, don't hurt yourself. Watch out, watch your step. So your heart must be so pure, sir. So pure, so pure that you are able to forgive anyone for whatever they do. Very touching. Very, very. Don't try to rationalize it. Don't, when there's emotion, like you don't analyze Enduro Mahanubhavulu. When she was giving a rendition, you are not intellectualizing, are you? Intellect switch off. I hope now it's not switch off. Now intellect should be switched on. Then must be switched off. You just attune to emotion there. Here, you have to have emotion and intellection both. You have to use your head. So you must learn to forgive another from the heart. As I've said in answering the gentleman earlier, that you must grow in spirituality to such disparity that the sheer disparity you are able to forgive another. But when you do at times get into this spirit of forgiving, there is a possibility that you may develop an arrogance that I am forgiving you. There is a possibility that you develop a superiority over another, that you are forgiving the other for what they perpetrate. Now, to arrest this quality of the arrogance that might come when you operate on emotion, you got to go with the second option or use the second avenue, which is to forgive from the head. First, you operate from the heart, but there's a possible loophole or a possibility that you may develop an ahankar or an arrogance. To arrest that, there is the head that comes in. Next. Now you must, when you are uploading the video, keep editing this next and all, no? You wonder what is next. Oi, back. Amanitvamadambhitvam ahimsa kshanti arjavam acharyopasanam shaucham sthairyam vinigraha. Now in the 13th chapter of Gita, thanks Gayatri Ma, I was so thankful to you. I don't know what I would have done without her. The God-sent Karma Yogi. Amazing sevak. Namaskaram to you, Gayatri Ma. Namaskaram. So, in the 13th chapter of the Gita, the 8th verse talks kshanti, the same quality, kshami in the 12th chapter. Here it comes as kshanti. There is forgiving, here it's interpreted as forgiveness. Now, same quality with a different flavor. Now, what is this forgiveness? Kshami, forgiveness intellectually, forgiveness is nothing but a sheer understanding, which you may say that understanding arises out of knowledge and wisdom. Now, when you look at the world, when you look at people, you will understand that everyone is operating helplessly according to their own innate nature known as vasanas. When you understand everybody as helplessly expressing their own nature of vasanas, how can you expect them to be anything other than what they are? Isn't it, Arunama? Everybody has the nature, isn't it? So, is the person expressing his nature helplessly at fault, or the person expecting him to be other than his nature at fault? I repeat the question, ma. Is the person, I'm asking you, Arunama, is the person helplessly expressing the nature, is he at fault, or me who expects him to be other than his nature at fault? Who is at fault? Who expects? I have a particular nature. which is defined by my vasanas. Now, if any one of you expect me to be other than what I am, are you at fault or am I at fault? Who at fault? Sir, but how can it be so? He is so cunning, he is so manipulative, he is so criminal in his mind. How can you say that to him? You know, what is the nature of a fox? Can you expect a fox to be faithful? Who is at fault? The fox? The little fox? Or we? I am at fault. How can I expect the fox to be anything other than its nature? It is what it is. In fact, it is true to its nature. Recently, I think, I don't know where exactly, in somewhere in Canada or in that part of the world, there was a man who raised a wolf from its cub stage, very little one. He found it in the wild, he helped it, and then brought it along with him, and then the wolf grew. And as you know, these wolves are very, very fearsome, and they grow really huge, and they are not something which can be tamed. And it was a 3-4 minute video that came along, and one of the things he said, and there's such bond, now it's a full grown, and there's so much of love and understanding. And he says, I never ever forget the natural instinct of the wolf is to kill. And he is rolling with the wolf is over him, is like a pet dog. And he says, it just takes a fraction of a minute for the wolf, it just takes a moment for the wolf to kill me. No way I am anywhere near its strength. But what understanding he has at the back of his mind, here is a wild creature, I can't change its innate nature to kill. It can take hardly any time for me to become a prey. I can be food in the platter in the plate for the wolf. I understand that, but yet there is a love affection with the wolf. He plays with it, he rolls with it, he whines with it, he runs around with it. It is in his home, it sleeps with him like a little pet. But in the back of my understand, here is a dangerous creature. I have tamed it, but I can't change its nature. Innate nature is to kill. I can't change the wildness of a wolf, he says. These were the words that stuck my mind. Whenever you think you are in a position to forgive another person, understand forgiveness is nothing but Sanjay, forgiveness is nothing but Sanjay is one of my very dear students from UK. Yes, Sanjay. Forgiveness is nothing but? I'm asking Sanjay. Good, he can't hear you. Or any one of us. Yes, Sanjay.
I can't complete that statement, Guruji, sorry.
Sorry, we can't hear here. Can you speak again, please?
Guruji, sorry, I can't complete that statement. Forgiveness is nothing but.
I think there's some technical issue. We are unable to hear in the... Are you all able to hear him? No. Okay. Okay. But from your gesture, I know that you don't know. So I got the answer. Correct the answer. I can't hear you, but I understand you. So, Ma, can you please share the next slide for me? Forgiveness is nothing but and understanding. As the saying goes, to understand all is to forgive all. Who am I to forgive you, sir? Since when am I taken your conscience into my custody? When have I become the custodian of your conscience? Who am I to sit here and decide whether you're doing right or wrong? It's none of my business to interfere with your life. You live the way you live. You want to live. I live the way I think is right for me to live. I should not be a judge of others to sit and decide whether you're doing right or wrong. And if you, in my perspective, if you are wrong, then am I to forgive you? It's like eating like this. Huh? From my perspective, you're wrong, therefore I forgive you. Where does the question arise? Who are you? Who am I? You have a nature, I have a nature. You are born with a certain vasanas. He is born with certain vasanas. You are true to yourself. He is true to myself. What have I got to do with it? Honestly meddling my finger into others' lives, and then I'm complaining without knowledge and understanding. If you have the understanding, if you have the wisdom, you will learn how to 1 minute, ma. If you have the knowledge and wisdom, it expresses as the intellect, the buddhi. And one who has the intellect is able to make a proper assessment. Go back to the example of the wolf. Correct assessment. Once you assess, you accept. There is no censure. And once you accept, you have a perfect relationship. Perfect relationship. You'll have no problem. You will never complain that the monsoon is wet. Oh, past 2 days it's raining, I tell you. Even yesterday night they were telling, I hope it stops raining because we'll get more people here. How can you complain of monsoon? 2 weeks ago you were saying, when will monsoon come? When will monsoon come? When will monsoon come? When it comes, why did it come? Why is it constantly pouring? At least for a little while sun comes, Everything you have a problem with. You look at our nature. Everything we are. So one who has this wisdom will have no problem. So to understand all is to forgive all. Vaishnavi, can you pass the mic to Annapurnama?
Here, mic.
Namaste, Guruji.
Yes, ma'am.
If to forgive is only to understand, how will the other person who has inflicted some hurt or insult would know that the other person has chosen forgiveness instead of retaliation, and it will give him a chance to reflect and correct himself. Guru can probably do that, more than to show the right path.
Now, as I've said, when you understand other person, you have a right relationship with that person, isn't it? In that right relation, wherever there is a right relationship, it creates a harmony. It creates comfort within me. It gives an opportunity for another to go within. I take these examples. Whenever you go to let's say a bank, you're constantly being monitored, aren't you? When you know you're being monitored, what's your conduct? Don't you become conscious of yourself? When you know you're being watched, where in countries where even if you go a little over the designated speed, there'll be just trap cameras all over. You know you will be caught. You like it or not? Huh? Meant to be there. It's there, correct. No, I'm not ridiculing you. I'm only telling where you know that the law works, instantly you become conscious, aren't you? So when you become, when you understand another person, please remember this quality. When you understand another person, you let the other person be what he or she is. Point one. Second, you become a witness to their actions. Point two. The third, the moment you become a witness, it helps the other person to go inward and change themselves. What are three things I said? Venkaji, first, are these the three things I said? Order. Already feeling hungry, is it? What are the three things I said? First is, when you understand a person, nobody heard me. Oh my God. Nobody heard me. I carry on talking and talking. Nobody's hearing me. You let them be what they are. When you understand another person, you let them be what they are. You become a witness to their actions. When you become a witness to their actions, it helps another person to go inward. So it gives an opportunity for the other to take a self-corrective measure than you pouncing on the other, imposing your views on them. By that way, you keep your peace, you keep his peace. No pieces. Bits and pieces. I have my peace, you have your peace. So the knowledge helps to give the other a space. But whatever it is, the next one. Forgiveness should not be an occasional act. It should be a permanent attitude that you cultivate. However difficult it may be, however demanding it may be. It's not once in a while I forgive. Nah, that's not acceptable. And if you are able to do so, what forgiveness does is it does not change the past, but it does enlarge your future. And in that, there is a true transformation. Forgiveness doesn't change your past, but it enlarges the future. My dear friends, in short, this is an outhouse perspective to this beautiful quality of the true fragrance one has when one embraces the quality of forgiveness. Sir, the question, sorry, your good name, sir? Ravi Shankar ji asking is, the moment there is detachment, sir, the moment you have an understanding which arises out of wisdom, you become a sakshi. A sakshi is nothing but you are detached. In fact, you are saying the same thing. You're explaining what I said. But the bottom line is understanding and wisdom. Detachment in English is sakshi in Sanskrit. Once you are detached, let others be what they are, man. Swami Ramatirtha says, he said, reforming the world is like straightening a dog's tail. Why have you taken the job of reforming the world? Why don't you start and end with your own reformation? The moment So my appeal to you is, don't forget what was said today and come back to this classroom where the platform would be open for a dialogue. As I said, Sakshi and detachment are one the same. So we are both speaking the same thing. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. So thank you all for giving us the opportunity to remember and pay our respects to the gamut of knowledge these great men have left behind. It is our obligation to receive it, imbibe it, and live it. And that's the only way we can pay back to the great sacrifices of what the Gurus have done. Thank you all. We shall conclude today's
Yeah, I think
satsang with a prayer. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
We all can take prasad from Guruji, but we will follow a system now. We'll start from the final row. They can come, take the prasad and go so that yeah. Now we all have been given covers. We can take the covers and Guru Dakshina, whatever is your choice, we can share it and we can show our gratitude. We can come from the last so that we can do it in an orderly manner. It'll be easier. Come now, take prasad from Guruji, orderly manner so that
నివేదన చేసే హార్ట్లో అన్న పూర్తి ఆఫ్ చేయి. ఇది పడినే
నేను ఎవరికి పెట్టాలి నేను పెడతాగా నేను కూర్చో చెప్పి